happy to have you back. 2 weeks in a row, you get brand new episodes of Real Talk. You're welcome. We are happy to be of service and to be of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I am Paige from Healing Spaces, writer and astrologer.
And I'm Kristie, creator of a Strong Soul Wellness women's health coach. And we are back 2 weeks in a row because you guys are just dying for that.
Yes.
We're here to make you happy.
Yes. We heard all the laughter from last week's episode, and we just thought, you know what? Let's get back on regular scheduled programming.
Why not?
Give them 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah. So
Make the people happy.
Here we are.
You're welcome.
We had some very inspirational content prepared for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
However,
we both sat down on this couch, and I do believe that the exact conversation was, I'm feeling frumpy. Let's go inspire the world.
so here we are, frumpy, swollen,
inflamed,
but happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think so what we came up with, sort of, sorry, slip that in there. But what we came up with was the fact that for us to get on here and record this episode, we could have pulled a script out and talked to you about the really important topics that we had planned. We will do that. We don't use a script, but we will have that conversation. But we thought, what is more relatable for women or just for humans in general, for somebody that has any kind of online presence to jump on a video like this and be like, hey guys, I'm feeling frumpy. But guess what? We still showed up. And it's the same thing that we have to do in life every single day, even when we feel like shit.
Yeah.
The
world keeps spinning. And I think just acknowledging, especially moms, we have to, no matter how we feel, we have to still keep going. But I think it just feels I have felt such a relief by us both being like, wow, I feel really frumpy. I feel kind of frustrated, not as inspirational as I would like. And it's okay to just be like, I'm not feeling it today.
Yeah.
Or this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then it's like, okay, what do you do about it? Well, the first thing that you do about it is you just be freaking honest about it. The first thing that you can do when you're not feeling the greatest, you can be happy, and feel frumpy.
Yeah.
You can be exhausted and still be happy or be okay.
Absolutely.
You can feel both of those things at the same time. And I think what's so important is that the first thing that you do about it is you just admit it.
Admit it. You don't have to put on that mask, that face. You can drop off your kids at school in your pajamas. Nobody really cares.
Right. I do that.
Yeah.
When I had to take Macy to school, I'm usually always in my Jimmy Jams.
Yeah. Show up as you are. And I think the more often that we just show up as we are, that is honoring ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, what is better and more easy and safe than just being this is who I am today. I might be different tomorrow.
Yeah.
I might not be.
I might be different in an hour. Shit might escalate. We might really.
I'm not saying
up or down. You never know. You never know which direction it's going to go. But it can change because our feelings, our emotions are not set in concrete. They're going to change. They're going to ebb and they're going to flow. Our energy levels, the same things. And so just because, you feel light and, excited 1 minute, doesn't mean an hour or two from now you're going to feel the same. You might run into a wall and be like, okay, now I'm tired and feeling a little unsettled. That's okay. What's important is to just own it and be honest about it and not have to feel like you have to prove anything or be something or be in a place that you're not for the sake of other people's comfort.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Whoa. We did inspire.
Whoa.
Done.
And done. You got 8 minutes.
I I love that though, because truly, how often, and especially for women, we have like at least a 28-day hormone cycle. Mm-hmm. So of course, we are going to feel different every single day. And yeah, sometimes that is in the minute, but not having to just put on a mask or prove something to other people, or when you're out in public, like just being able to be who you are in that moment. And sometimes it could be kind of sucky, and sometimes it could be amazing.
Yeah, and I think that it doesn't have to mean that you're in a bad mood or you're in a bad place or that whatever it is. It's like sometimes you can show up, so like in social settings, and you could feel very in the moment, in the conversation. You have a lot to offer. You have a lot of things to say, and you could be cracking jokes and being more outgoing, you know. Like I experienced that to where I can show up sometimes and I can just be like, give me a mic. I'm a stand-up comedian.
Take over the room.
And then there's other times where I just need to kind of like sit back and be quiet. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. And that's something that I've just gotten comfortable with in the last few years. Is like, I don't actually have to show up and give something that I don't have to give. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I can show up and just kind of like sit on the sidelines, observe, like share in some small conversation. It doesn't have to be big or grand. You know, all it has to be is like a representation of where I am in the moment. If somebody asks you how you're doing and how you're feeling, and you just say fine all the time, you know, then they just take that as like, oh yeah, she's fine, she's good. But even taking an inventory of like when people ask you that question, being like, you know, today I'm feeling a little bit off, or today I'm feeling really, really good. Yeah. So that when people know that you're answering them with the authentic, true, raw, vulnerable honesty of how you're really feeling. When you offer that to other people, then they feel that safety with you, that they can be honest.
Yeah, it offers that opportunity for them to kind of self-reflect a little bit. That is, I don't want to say I hate the response of I'm fine, but that's something that I try to teach my kids or try to talk about. Like, there's so many other words than I'm fine. And yeah, it's okay to say I'm not doing great, but to amplify when you are doing really well, don't just say fine. Just be like, I'm great. Like, I'm good. Amplify those feelings. And kind of along the lines of what you were talking about earlier in like social settings and stuff, I feel like when we force ourselves to, like, we present ourselves a certain way, that really wears on our energy, and that creates more resentment. And then that actually does lead to a bad mood. Like, just because I'm feeling frumpy, my period should be starting anytime soon, I'm not actually in a bad mood at this moment. But if I came here and I was pretending to be like super inspirational and super fine, it would lead to me having a bad attitude. Yeah. Because I wasn't being authentic.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, it's kind of like what you said. Like, I feel a little frumpy and I feel a little just like, but I've had a sick kid. You know, I've really been trying to, like, get caught up on all of the things that I have not been caught up on over the course of the last month.
It looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
I was looking around when you weren't here.
I vacuumed under my couches, and so that just made my little Virgo heart happy. I was like, Macy, aren't you so happy that the underneath the couches is clean? And she was just like, yeah, I was really stressed out about it, Mom.
Well, you can come to my house.
It made me feel so good.
I bet.
It made me feel so good.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, but, you know, like, I think that that's what's so important is that because we have grown up in a time to where, we had experienced, especially in our 20s, a period of time where toxic positivity was, like, pushed so significantly. Sorry, I don't know what that is. Go Wi-Fi. But toxic positivity was such a prominent thing for us, I feel like, in our 20s. Like, social media and self-development books and things like that.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. And there is some times where that's necessary. There is some times where it's like, okay, I got to show up for this thing. I got to do this thing. I got to be pleasant. And I got to, like, really put on my face for it.
Yeah.
That will happen in your life. We're not denying that. But when you amplify that toxic positivity in your life, it is not going to lead to authentic connection with yourself or with other people.
Yeah.
When you amplify the sadness or the negative things in your life, it doesn't mean that you can't feel those, but when that's all you focus on, it's the same effect. It's also not going to lead you to that highest version or the life that you wish to live. It's all about honoring where you are in the moment, honoring the fact that you also know that it's not going to last forever.
Yes.
And then being able to pursue the balance that you need to be honest about how you're feeling, but also attain the tools that you need to move through it.
Yeah. I love that. That was all very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Very inspired. And I think especially for like relationships with your kids or your significant other, being able to communicate how you truly feel can help really prevent or resolve problems. And that's something like communication is probably something that we could have a whole talk on, but that's something that like my husband and I have like had to work through, is just really communicating, because previously my automatic response was to just be silent, to not say truly how I was feeling. Like, not even if it was just like, I mean, the fact that I'm about to start my period, that's just, it is what it is. That's not anybody's fault.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't ever kind of say, hey, I'm just not feeling this today. And then we would have to go do something. And so all of this buildup would happen. And then I'd be like pissed off at him. It's like, if I could, once I started learning to just be like, yeah, I'm not going. I'm not going to that, because today is not the day for me to socialize with people, and just really honoring how I'm feeling. Like my energy, your energy has to be precious. You have to take care of that. And it's starting, I think, especially if you're like in close quarters with people, being able to communicate that with others, I think is really important.
Yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think that, like you really pointed out, it's different for every single person. Like the ways in which you use your energy and the ability you have to use your energy at certain times is going to be different for everybody. Yeah. And so being able to be aware of it, but then also being able to honor it. And so taking those steps towards communicating that, I think, is super important. I also think beyond that, beyond your kids, beyond your relationships, it's important to be able to do with your friendships. Yeah. You know, it's like, hey, I don't, like, would love to get together with you today, but like, I don't know if I have the energy for it. Or I would love to be able to like still, you know, instead of going out to dinner, can we just like hang out in our PJs at home? Whatever it is, in the capacity to be able to be honest with all of the people in your life, whether that's your clients. I mean, you know, I've had to reschedule astrology appointments because it's like my head is not in this space right now. Yeah. You know, I had to do that in July when I was going through so much, you know, of that fresh grief. Was like, I will not be able to show up for you in a powerful, clear way. Can we reschedule this? Yeah. And I think you just have to be, I'm sorry, that fly is like, attack.
It's me, apparently.
But you have to be able to honor that in all capacities of your life. There will be times where you do have the ability to show up, deliver, you know, when you need to. And then there's going to be times where it's just like, nope, I don't have it today. I don't have it today. I don't understand.
But along the lines of just like amplifying and honoring, I think it's also important to mention, I mean, sometimes
they're multiplying.
This is not going well.
We are off the rails. Okay.
So the way that we're feeling, like from all the, and the fact that we're laughing, this is the point that I'm trying to make. Young Kristie, teenage Kristie, 20s Kristie, she was a trip, man. When she was feeling this way, she'd be listening to some really sappy, like, some sappy music, something that I would know that would piss me off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like watching something, or like going back through like pictures, or it's just like I would almost look for more bad feelings to just wallow in misery. And yes, it's okay to wallow, but don't amplify that. Don't make it worse by actively seeking out things that are going to just like drop your energy level. Like us being able to sit here and laugh and have a good time, even though we're like frumpy and just, it's not like our best inspirational day, we're still having a higher vibration, and that brings in good energy and good things to our lives, rather than watching something that's like sad or whatever. So I think that's just something to point out is, you know, when we talk about amplifying, you can, even when you're having a bad day, it's okay to maybe listen to a song that's really uplifting, or like a podcast that you like. And it's not, I don't want to do like the fake positivity or toxic positivity, but just don't make it worse.
Yeah.
By like amplifying in the bad. Like
if you know you're already overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Or you're already feeling a certain type of way. Don't just add to that because you want to drown in it.
Yeah.
That's
what I would. Yeah, I would do that so much, and it would last then. It would last for weeks rather than just a day or two. It was like I was in that for weeks at a time.
Yeah. Well, and I think that there's a really prominent difference between like allowing yourself, creating this energy around yourself that like you just want. Like, I just want to be sad. Like, I just want to be upset. I just want to feel sad. And really, I think that we created that in our past because we didn't actually know how to process our sadness. So instead of just being like, okay, I'm going to say, watch this movie because I need to cry and get that release out. And then maybe, you know, do whatever it is that I need to do to like process those feelings and emotions. It was like, it would project out in this way to where it was like, I'm feeling this feeling. It's making me feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to search for something that's going to amplify this and give me good reason to feel like shit.
Yes.
And so it's just like, if we can learn how to like process our emotions and be honest about them and feel them and like, you know, do whatever it is that we need to do to like get them out rather than ignoring our true feelings and then just like drowning in all of this like sadness or whatever it is, this like this heaviness. Yeah, it's probably a better word for it. Then we can really get to that place where you're like, okay, like I can come out of this, you know, more resilient and just really more secure on the foundation that I'm setting, you know, for myself.
Yeah.
When you're kids, it's hard to do. It's not also something like it for our generation that was like modeled, you know.
Yeah.
Self-care, self-development, therapy, like mental health. These things are like really new for this world to really be that open about.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing for our children. But I also think it's definitely a learning curve of us being able to look back on our experience and like be like, yeah, like we didn't necessarily have those tools.
No.
And so we just really leaned heavy into the things that felt comfortable at the time.
Yeah. Which was normally more misery.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not have any emotional like processing tools whatsoever. And I mean, that's kind of a bummer to think about that it takes, you know, it was late 20s before I really was able to start even looking at or considered that I could regulate my emotions, that I could rewire my nervous system. Because a lot of times it's like an automatic response from a previous experience that you've gone through that can put you in kind of a state of sadness or darkness. And being able to kind of rewire your nervous system so that it feels safe and reminded that it's safe has been just a massive difference in my life. And so when I have those crappy feelings, they don't last. They don't last all the time. They don't last for, you know, a week straight even, maybe, but hardly. It's like it just having that darkness lifted and being able to recognize that I've lifted that, which I'm just recognizing in this moment. Feels really good.
I love that for you. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there's times that we go through, there's seasons for everything in life, and there's going to be seasons where you do feel really heavy for a really long time.
Yeah.
There's going to be seasons, I mean, I suffered with very significant depression for pretty heavy for about a year. And in that, it was like I knew that I had to feel all of the things that I needed to feel.
Yeah.
But it was because of the fact that I had ran from it for so long. And so for me, because just the way that I am and the way that I'm wired, it was like a jumping into the deep end. There was no like tiptoeing my way from the shallow. It was like head first into the deep. And it was like in those moments, even when the darkness just was like so heavy, I still had to find the things that I could hold on to that like brought the light into my life.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that it's so important for us to learn that it's okay to feel our feelings. It's okay to feel multiple things at once. And it's okay to understand that you don't have to continue to make the same choices. That now when, you know, you go through those heavy things or you go through those hard times, it's like, okay, like I am feeling this and I do recognize that this is there, but I also have done the work to attain the tools that I have to be able to walk myself out of it more gently.
Yes.
And then also just like recognizing and being super honest about the fact that you can't always do it by yourself. I would not have survived that year without the mentors and the healers and the therapists that I had worked with to be able to just really help me to unwire and uncover all of the things that I was feeling.
Yeah.
Up until this point, I'm still, like I talk all the time, I'm very, you know, I'm still very active in therapy. And so, yeah, it's okay to ask for help. Because there's a difference between feeling depressed and feeling frumpy. There's a difference between, you know, and we've both had our experiences with that. So I just wanted to like state that just because if anybody's listening to this and like you are really going through a really dark, heavy season, there is a difference between what you are going through and what we're describing in this moment.
Yeah.
I just think that that's like
it's very important.
Like clarification to make because we both have had the experiences with that. And so, yeah, it's like being, you know, like I said, being in this space, that we're in, like, not feeling our greatest, but also knowing that it's not the same as
same as depression
we've been through before.
Yeah. So we've experienced that and it can come and go. It's not something that just is, you know, always something that you get over and it doesn't come back. So we have both been there and understand, and it's so important to reach out to get help, to get support, therapy, healers. Friends are great, but sometimes you just need to take that extra step, I feel like, into therapy. And so, there is. And I'm glad you pointed that out. There's a big difference between being in a depressive state and experiencing depression than just feeling frumpy.
Yeah.
But even, I feel like what I wish I would have known when I was depressed is that being depressed also didn't define me. It became my identity for a very long time. And I wish I would have known what I know now and that wasn't the full picture of who I was. And I think if that's something that you're going through, just knowing that that's not all that you are. That is something that you're experiencing and you're going through, but it doesn't completely define you.
Yeah, no, that's really beautiful. That's, like, really powerful, too, because, it's, like, you know, especially if people can, like physically see that you're going through something. Like, if people can, like, actually see that you're going through something, there can be a lot of opinions, like, thrown into the dish about it. And so it's, like, that is not all that you are. It may be what you're feeling in that moment, but you're not alone.
Yeah.
And even on those days, whether it is that you are in a really hard season whether you're just waking up feeling a little frumpy or feeling a little overwhelmed, no matter what it is you're feeling, somebody else out in the world is feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I think instead of like us looking at it as like a way to compete with other people or like compare ourselves with other people, it's just like, no, like there's so much room on top of the mountain for everybody. There's so much room in the middle, in the climb. And there's also room for more than one person at the bottom.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be like different steps of that on different days.
Yeah.
At different times. You know, it's going to constantly change. It's going to constantly evolve. And, but yeah, I think that coming full circle, the first place to acknowledge is just like recognizing where you're at.
Yeah.
Recognizing where you're at.
Some days are just not going to be your day.
Yeah.
And today is one of those days.
And today is one of those days. I don't know. For being frumpy, I think that we're pretty, funny. And we are pretty,
we're hilarious.
Yeah, we're hilarious. Even on our bad days.
I love it.
Even on the bad days. But yeah. So I think that when we also too acknowledge that there is a physical response, you making the comment earlier about you getting ready to start your period.
Mm-hmm.
Which if there's any men listening to this and you make any type of like, why are they talking about their periods? We're going to fight because
don't mess with me.
It is a natural thing, number one. But number two, I really hate that when we feel like down and low about like our periods, or like our cycles and things like that, that sometimes people will use that
as an excuse.
Or like as this like little like jab or punching, like, what are you like on your period? Like, why are you being this way?
Like, no, I can be an asshole whether I'm on my period or not. Thank you.
Yes, I sure can. But I think it's important to recognize that, like, when we experience our cycles as women, our body changes.
Yes.
Our body goes through a physical response to what it needs to do and how it needs to function optimally. It is a lot of work. Like, it is a lot of work, the things that our bodies do.
Yeah.
Like, as we go through our different cycles. And so I think it's super important for us to also talk about and recognize that you're going to feel tired.
Yes.
You might not feel your best. You might feel a little frumpy. You might not have as much energy, and recognizing the certain times in your cycle and getting rid of this notion that we're supposed to continue functioning through life at hyper speed, even when our body is literally like, it's got a circus going on inside.
Yes. Yeah. You can't, that, productivity is going to be different. You need to slow down. And from my perspective, like with my clients, do not step on the weight scale. Throw it away if you have one in your house, but your body will physically change.
Mm-hmm.
The shape of it will physically change. And that is the most natural part of our lives, is our cycle. And so when you can kind of work with it, when you learn kind of that almost went in my mouth. All seriousness here.
Okay.
What was I saying? When you learn about your cycle and just learn to work with it and not against it, and allow yourself the time to recover. Like, your body has to recover. Eat lots of food. You need lots of food.
Mm-hmm.
You need to hydrate, replenish your body. You have to take care of your body in that way and to slow down.
You have to rest. Like,
yeah.
That is, like, such a thing. I think it drives me crazy when I see all these commercials and stuff about, like, tampons and, you know,
can be active.
It's like, be active, sport, Playtex, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no.
Blah, blah, blah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
You are supposed to. In ancient times, there used to be, like, when women would have their bleed, they would actually take them away and allow them to go to this special place, like a tent, of what, however it was, but they would take them away so that they could experience their cycle and rest. Like, that is the point. When your body is going through that, you are meant to rest. So, again, feeling frumpy, not feeling your best is completely normal.
Yes.
And it's also not something to feel shame about.
No.
It's not something that you should feel like, like, oh gosh, I don't want to be one of those women that's got crazy PMS. Like, no, it's like our bodies are going through a lot, and we are actually meant to honor that. Yeah. We're not meant to push through, stay as active as we possibly can, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Like, I will schedule my coaching calls around if it's my period week. Like, I mean, that's just so I can show up best for my clients. But there was something else that I had a thought on as you were speaking, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. I said blah, blah, blah like 2 or 3 times, so I feel like I'm like, okay.
Oh, the more that we lean into giving ourselves that rest when we need it, and just kind of working with our bodies, working with our cycle, it will help relieve some of those extreme PMS symptoms. I mean, there's like a lot to that, and I love talking to women about that. But when you really do honor your body, and rest and recovery is one of the main things that you have to do, it actually does help with your PMS symptoms.
Yeah.
So just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, and it is true. It's like trying to put on a front or force your body to do or be something that it just doesn't have the capacity to be is not going to do anything but be detrimental to yourself.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's super important that we just acknowledge it. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to need to rest. It's okay if you're on your period. It's okay. I mean, even when you're going through your ovulation cycle, like for me, I have to eat more carbs around that time because I have blood sugar issues. And so because I've had to do a lot of work around my relationship with my body, my relationship with food, and the toxic, thoughts and obsessive compulsive, tendencies that I'd had around that, I would like punish my body for what it needed because of what I felt I needed to be for the world. Yeah. It's like you're supposed to look a certain way and you're supposed to eat a certain way and like diet culture and all this and that. And it was like, no, like my body actually needs carbs, right before I start my bleed and right before I ovulate.
Yeah.
Because your body is actually burning more calories.
Oh, yeah.
So that is
significantly.
And so it's just like, okay, you're feeling a little frumpy. You're not feeling that great. You know what? Like, you're going to make yourself like a nice pasta dinner and you're going to like
some chocolate,
put all the ingredients together. You're going to like do it in a quality way to where you can honor what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, and how you're feeling. Yeah. At least, like, that's my thought process and of what I have to tell myself. But
no, that's exactly, that is what you should do.
Yeah. So I do. I think that it's important to honor, like, the actual physical response of our bodies and what they need, why and when, in this instance, like, feeling the frumpiness of all of it. But yeah, and just really recognizing that it's okay, and it's okay to give yourself what you need so that you can process it and move through it.
Yeah. I mean, our bodies are so complex.
Yeah.
But beautiful. I mean, and just being able to honor that and to listen to it and to rest and all the things is so important. And talk about that to the like young girls in your life.
Yeah. And to your partners too.
Well, yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that's an important thing. Like, talking to the young girls in your life about it, but also like your partner.
Like, my youngest, she will ask me like, hey mom, are you on your period? Because if it's a yes, she runs to the kitchen. She gets us both a piece of chocolate. She comes back and she gives me a piece of chocolate, but she also gets one. So it's her way of getting chocolate. Like, no matter what, it doesn't matter if it's morning, whatever time of day, but she's like, hey, Mom, are you on your period?
Please say yes. Please say yes.
But just being very open about how I'm feeling and kind of that process is really beneficial for young girls.
Yeah. And like I think that's beautiful and hilarious. I love Annabelle. But yeah, being able to be open and honest and like talk about those things and the things that you're feeling normalizes it for all of us.
Yeah.
The more honest that we can be about our cycles, the more honest that we can be about our emotions, about how we're truly feeling and how much we have to actually show up full circle in this conversation. All of those things, it opens up the space for other people to be more honest.
Yeah.
I can't think of a time that I have been around somebody who's just been authentically, and I don't mean like a dickhead about it, but I mean like authentically honest about how they're feeling and genuine and vulnerable, that hasn't affected me in a way that I feel like, oh man,
it's like a breath of fresh air.
I can show up around you and be authentic and be genuine. I don't have to put on a front.
Those are the people we want to be around.
Yeah.
Surround
those are the people that we want to be in the world.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's people who can just be like a real asshole about it. I mean, you know.
Like that you slipped that in.
That's true. And I've been that before. You know, like I've been that little tornado of like being honest, but also like blaming some external thing or
I gotcha, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can express how you're feeling, like blaming somebody else, somebody else's fault or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you can be in a really negative place, like expressing your feelings or expressing yourself or whatever it is, or really like downplay your own feelings in however, like whatever capacity. But you know, yeah, like when you're just with people who aren't speaking from their ego and they're speaking from their truth and they're just offering that to you like in a real, honest, genuine way, then you know that you can show up to this person and be real, honest, and genuine.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, okay, we can hang and I don't have to prove anything.
And that feels good.
It does.
And then you'll feel energized even when you're feeling frumpy. You'll feel like uplifted even when you're feeling maybe a little down. Yeah. Like that's when you can experience both sides of those feelings and emotions, is when you're with those kind of people.
Yeah. And then there's times too that you have to just take a nap and go to bed, or you have to move to Antarctica. I mean, I don't know. That's all I got.
Antarctica.
Well, I texted her over the weekend and I was like, it was 8:30. I didn't have my kids, but it was like 8:30. I was like, I'm either going to bed or moving to Antarctica. I don't know what you got for me.
All right. Bye.
Okay. See you later. Just FaceTime me when you get there.
Because I ain't coming.
I'd be miserable in Antarctica. I'm cold all the time. But no, yeah, I mean, just being like straight up and real and honest. And I think that it's so important. You know, give yourself what you need. But you have to first be willing to admit where you are.
Yeah. It's okay to experience all of the human existence and to experience it all in a couple of minutes too.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
I love it.
I think that, you know.
Well, we went off a little bit on a tangent on women's cycles and periods, but I like it.
Yeah. And okay, you know, I'll throw you men out there. I'm just gonna like assume that we've got a couple men viewers, a few maybe. I don't know, Rudy. Hey,
he's not listening to this.
He just watches the blooper reel that we post on Facebook. Oh, anyways, if there are any men listening, you guys gotta honor yourself too, because you guys, as much as many men would like to deny, you do feel the full spectrum of emotions in the same ways that we do. And you should honor that. And you should find healthy ways to navigate it. And when you need rest, you should also give that to yourself as well.
Yeah. And communicate it.
Yes.
That will make life easier for everybody. For all of us.
I love it. I think this is brilliant.
It is brilliant. And I like that you pointed that out, because we do, like, obviously speak to women, but, you know, There's some men out there listening.
There are. I believe it. I got faith in you guys.
Or at the very least, this will like show you how to communicate with, a female in your life, if that's the case.
Exactly. Hey, and ladies, just like you can snip out this clip here and be like, screen grab.
Yeah.
Since you're in. Like, see, listen, I know these chicks, they said that you have a full range of emotions.
Let me see it. Women want to see that.
We do. Women do want to see that. That is a very powerful sign of maturity.
Yes.
Those are green flags.
Green flags. Yes,
green flags.
Absolutely.
Green flags.
Yeah. Women want to see that. And I think it just creates a beautiful intimacy in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
In relationships. And
to go back to the cycle thing and bringing up men, really nurturing, if you have a special woman in your life, whether that's a daughter, whether that is a partner, whatever, allowing them to honor their cycle and being there to nurture them when they're going through that, another green flag.
Yeah.
Huge green flag.
Yeah, I like that, especially because females typically are the nurturers, and so that's the time when they need a little more nurturing.
More nurturing. So, yeah.
Like, we just can solve friendships and relationships here. I mean,
I should practically be a professional.
I love it.
I love it too. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another chaotic episode of Real Talk. Life is a circus. We are happy to be your conductors.
We're this emoji. This is like...
So yeah, we cannot wait to get back on a regular schedule. The first and third Friday of every month. Like I said, we've had a lot of fun the last couple episodes.
Yes.
We do have some subjects that are going to come up here soon that are going to be a little bit more deep in the feels. And so we hope that you join us for each and every one. Let us know what you like and what you love. If you don't like anything, just keep that to yourself.
Keep scrolling.
Just keep going. Follow me at Our Healing Spaces on Instagram and Facebook.
Follow me at A Strong Soul Wellness on Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, all the things.
All the things.
And feel free to DM us with anything, with advice that's needed, with support that's needed, or a topic that you want us to cover. Just come say hi. If you follow us from here, just come say hi on social media because we want to chat. We like to chat.
Yeah, obviously. So. And we want to know, we appreciate you guys so much, and so we want your input on the things that we discuss and that we talk about.
Yeah.
So please, 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 please reach out. We appreciate you. We love you. See you soon.
Bye.